Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the SS Dolphin. Its mission, to take its captain, Captain Olimar, on vacation. To seek out tourist attractions and buy souvenirs for his family at home. To boldly relax where no man has relaxed before. Or at least, that's the idea. But as fate would have it, this particular vacation would change Captain Olimar's life forever. A rogue comet has struck his beloved ship, and now it crash lands to an unknown planet. And thus begins Captain Olimar's fight for survival. Hello everybody, it's me, your good friend Sparky, and welcome to Pikmin. We arrive at the impact site. Captain Olimar, though dazed, doesn't seem any worse for wear. Surprising, he hasn't suffered any, terrible injuries. His ship, on the other hand, it's seen better days, I'd say. My name is Captain Olimar. While traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out, and I awoke on the surface of a weird planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone. I'm stranded. To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen. My life support systems can function for only 30 days. If I can't repair the dolphin by then... No, better not to think about it. I must find the missing ship parts. Quite the undertaking for such a small little guy. These flowers are quite big around him, as you can see. It's gonna take a lot of effort for Captain Olimar to repair his ship by himself. But thankfully, there is help nearby. In this thing. Whatever might it be. He knocks Captain Olimar aside. And he's left to watch as a single seed falls to the ground. A strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search when it reared up as if it were waiting for me. It then dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I shall call this an onion too. Coincidentally, Olimar's planet also has onions. The planet Hokotate. Or Hokotate? I'm not sure how you technically pronounce it, but I always called it Hokotate. Hello! It appears our seed is already sprouted. The seed that the onion dropped took the root in the soil and has now produced an adorable little sprout. This sprout emits a strange light, and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it is calling to me. I am compelled. I must approach it and press A. I must press my psychic A button to command my body to act. Hello, little guy. Extraordinary. When I plucked the sprout, it turned out to be a living creature. Not a plant. Picking it has done no visible damage. It just stands there staring at me. Its shape is similar to the Pik brand carrots I love so much. I believe I shall call it a Pikmin. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive, and yet I am intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try to grab it and throw it with A, and I will call it to my side with B. Perhaps it will react to C and X as well. The following controls allow me several viewpoints. L, rotate camera. R, zoom in and out. Z, change angle. I must survive. I need to familiarize myself with these controls in my surroundings. It is really nice that Olimar explains this all to us, as if he is aware that he's in a video game. But yes, we are playing Pikmin. Pikmin 4 was just recently announced a couple months ago at this point, and I'm very excited for it. So, I was in a Pikmin mood, obviously. Astonishing! The onion has sown more seeds. The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down the flower appears to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be a sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. Very strange indeed. A creature that instinctively seems to want to help Elamar, and is totally okay with just being tossed around and whistled to. It's convenient that they're so friendly, I suppose. But yeah, Pikmin is one of my absolute all-time favorite game series. It is a series that means a lot to me. I played this game a lot with my older sister. I just love every entry in the series for its own unique reasons. It's definitely... it's just a special experience. And a fairly unique one as well. I don't think there were many games like this before the first Pikmin came around. Of course, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, honestly. I'm just not thinking of something obvious. But, Pikmin, for its time, definitely, as a young Nintendo fan, it was certainly something new. I did not actually own the first Pikmin for a long time, though. I borrowed the GameCube version from a friend, and it's only recently that I actually bought a physical copy of Pikmin 1 on GameCube, so I could record this project, honestly. A project that the details of we'll get into in a little while, I suppose. It involves sort of a special twist. It involves a challenge for myself. And I hope that you, the viewer at home, will join me for the entertainment. Or continue enjoying the entertainment as I provide it, I suppose. But yes, for right now, on day 1 of Pikmin, we are allowed time to sort of take in the controls, sort of figure out what the game's all about. There's no time limit on us. We can take as much time as we want to investigate the world and learn what it wants from us. For example, if you have a lot of Pikmin, they can do very unique things as a group. Like pushing boxes. The Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learned of Pikmin conduct. Approach and press A to pluck sprouts. Press A to grab Pikmin, release to throw. Press B to call them, X to dismiss, and C to command and control the group. L, R, and Z control my perspective. I shall record all of this on my computer. I can press Y to access the computer. A very handy summary, Olimar. The Pikmin 1 on GameCube doesn't have all of the advanced controls as later Pikmin games. Also, we found something rather important. Amazing! There's no mistaking it. My ship's engine rests before my very eyes. By a stroke of pure luck, I have already stumbled upon the most important piece of my damaged craft. Fate has smiled upon me. But how will I get it back to the dolphin? Well, I mean, you know, you could probably use the Pikmin. But the engine, it looks like it's a little too heavy for our current group of Pikmin. We need 20 of them in order to get it back to our ship's remains. We only have 14 though, so we need to grow a few more Pikmin. But yes, in case you can't quite tell what's going on, out in front of Olimar is a little cursor, and that determines where he is going to be throwing his Pikmin. You throw Pikmin at things to have them complete tasks, and carry things, and push things, and all sorts of handy-dandy things like that. And control-wise, the first Pikmin, it's not the best. I'd say later Pikmin games did in fact improve upon the controls quite a lot. But, you know, it still works. When many Pikmin speeds sprout at once, I find it rather tedious to pluck them from the ground individually. My wife has always told me I am no good at routine tasks. I guess I'll try get it done all at once by repeatedly tapping A until I pick all the Pikmin from the ground. I've noticed that when I add Pikmin to my group, they become filled with excitement and flushed with bright color. At other times, they revert to a paler hue and give off a dim glow. Paying close attention to these differences is bound to help me distinguish between Pikmin. Yes, when Pikmin are idling on their own, they become very, subdued in color. They're not their normal bright red. So it's important to pay attention to that. When they're just kind of on their own, they will be just sort of hanging out, not doing anything. And you don't want to leave a Pikmin alone too long, because if you do, you might forget about them. And, yeah, you don't want to do that. But we have successfully gathered enough Pikmin in order to carry the engine back. And thankfully, the Pikmin apparently know what to do with it. It's very fortunate that they understand that this is an engine and it needs to go to that flying metal thing that crashed onto the surface. That they weren't actually, like, alive to see? Yeah? Yeah. It's best not to think about it too much, I'd say. But with this, day 1 of our journey in the GameCube Pikmin has ended. They carry the engine back, the dolphin is upright, and it at least looks a little better. Some of the parts pop into place, and Olimar is ready. Oh, glorious! With the help of these Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back toward home. My ship can once again lift off. A glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly. But what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow. Indeed it does, Captain Olimar. The day ends, and Olimar sends the Pikmin back to their onion and heads to what is left of his ship. Thankfully, with the engine, it can at least fly a little bit. Obviously, it's not going into the depths of space quite yet, but we can blast off into the atmosphere, where Olimar will be safe for the night. Because, yeah, you don't want to be on the Pikmin planet at night. It's no good. One day since impact, I have somehow managed to launch the dolphin, but I was surprised to see the onion lift off with me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface, or they have merely decided to join me for other reasons. Either way, it seems they will help me again tomorrow. The dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Helgotate. Analysis shows my life support systems can function for only 29 more days. How can I repair the dolphin in such a short time? A dense forest is visible on the surface below. As it holds the keys to my survival, I name it the Forest of Hope. I explore it tomorrow. And at the end of the day, you get to see the ship's log, and how many Pikmin you sprouted, and how many parts you have to collect. And that wraps it up for day 1 of the GameCube Pikmin, but there's something else we need to cover. You see, Pikmin was one of several Nintendo GameCube games that received upgraded ports to the Nintendo Wii, called the New Play Control series. The idea behind the series was to give these older GameCube games new control schemes using the Wii's Wii Remote and Nunchuck setup. Basically utilizing the motion controls and the pointer controls to breathe new life into older games in Nintendo's catalogs. And Pikmin was an obvious and, I think, very appropriate pick for such a series. As a result, there are 2 versions of Pikmin, and one of the main goals of this project is to play both versions side by side, and sort of compare and contrast them, I guess. See what differences there are, see what games do what better. But overall, as far as the story's concerned, it's pretty much the same. Captain Olimar crash lands, there's the dolphin, it's all broken up into pieces. His name is Captain Olimar. While traveling through space, his ship was struck by a meteor. You know, not much of a difference there. What really is different, it all comes down to the controls, which we'll get to in a little while. It's important to note that Pikmin in general is a very well-designed game. The structure of the game is very straightforward. You have 30 days, and you have 30 missing ship parts you need to find. So, really, all you gotta do is find a part a day, and you're pretty much golden if you keep on track like that. Of course, Captain Olimar still gets knocked aside by the emerging onion. And the seed still sprouts. A strange thing has appeared before him, which he names after food, much like how Akira Toriyama names all of his characters after things in his house. Or things he ate that day. We can still punch things. He can still punch these pellet posies, as they're called, in frustration. I would punch things too if I were Captain Olimar, honestly. It's a bit frustrating to crash land, you know. The seed that the onion dropped took root in the soil and has now produced an adorable little sprout. The sprout emits a strange light and sways back and forth with benefit of the wind. Without benefit of the wind, rather. He is compelled, and he must press A. So similar stuff to the GameCube version there. And of course, we still get to see our adorable little Pikmin friend. When he plucks the sprout, it turns out to be a living creature. What a surprise. I feel like we've seen this already, but it's fine. Again, naming it after food. Yum. Here I am stranded on a toxic planet fighting to survive, and yet I'm intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try and grab it with A and throw it in the direction that I point. And I will call it boost my side with B. Perhaps it will react to C and pressing down on the D-pad while pointing as well. And yeah, there's your main control differences. The following controls allow me to several viewpoints. Z to rotate the camera, left and right on the D-pad to zoom, up to change perspective. I must survive and familiarize myself with these controls and my surroundings. And yeah, that's the main difference between Pikmin 1 on GameCube and Pikmin 1 on Wii. You now throw Pikmin in the direction that you point with the Wii remote. And with this new additional control scheme, this new way to control Pikmin as a whole, it also gives Olimar a much longer throwing range. In the first Pikmin on GameCube, the throw range is kinda dinky. It only goes so far, and it's only in the direction that Olimar is pointing. Is facing, rather, with the control stick. But, in the Wii version, you can run in one direction and point and throw Pikmin in another, which is very handy in some situations, honestly. And just in general, you've got way more range to work with. For example, the whistle, while in the GameCube version you can only whistle as far as your target icon is pointed, the whistle in the Wii version, you're able to just point it out all the way in the distance and whistle Pikmin from really far away. Like, really, really far away. It is super handy when you're trying to do things quickly. Because as mentioned, there's no time limit on day 1 of Pikmin, but there is a time limit on every other day, and that's going to be very important going forward. Getting things done quickly and efficiently is a big part of learning the ins and outs of playing Pikmin. And in general, the Wii version with the pointer controls it gives you a lot more freedom. You're no longer limited to just having a very short range to work with. Just in general, it's really easy to get used to, like, the ease of controlling Pikmin and having better things to work with. For example, I wouldn't have been able to throw Pikmin up to that ledge in the GameCube version. Olimar's reach just isn't far enough. And, yeah, we'll see if, we'll see how that comes in handy in a little bit here. There is a trade-off, though, with the GameCube and the Wii controls. In the GameCube version, you can charge your Pikmin and control the group with the C stick, which allowed you to easily move and possibly even throw Pikmin in a different direction than where you're directing your group. You could use the two sticks in tandem to sort of point your Pikmin in one direction and keep them out of danger while you're throwing them in another. And you can't do that in the Wii version because the charging controls are also dictated where you're pointing now. If that makes any sense. Olimar's gonna sum up the controls here. Approach and press A to collect sprouts, press A to grab Pikmin, release to throw, press B to call them, C to dismiss, press down and point to command and to control the group, Z up, left, and right on the D-pad to control perspective, and access the computer with plus. But yeah, it's a trade-off. In the GameCube version, you have the ability to control your group of Pikmin with one stick and move with the other and aim and throw them with that same stick. And you can move your Pikmin in different directions and sort of strategically move them around like that. But in the Wii version, you don't really have that luxury, because aiming your Pikmin and controlling the group, charging them at things like that, are all done with the pointer. But I'd say overall, the Wii controls are just generally much better than the GameCube controls. Even though you don't have that freedom of aiming your Pikmin and controlling the group in different directions. Generally it's not a problem that comes up very often, I'd find. The Wii controls are just so much better with the freedom of aiming and throwing your Pikmin and just the extended throw range. You can do cheesy things like this. This gate up here, we're not supposed to be able to reach that yet. We are supposed to be able, or have to, come back here on a second day. As you can see, off in the distance there appears to be a ship part that we can't access yet. We still can't get up to that ledge and go get that ship part, of course. But, yeah, we can knock down that gate ahead of time. When many Pikmin were spread at once, rapidly tap A, yada yada. The extended throw range of your Pikmin is just so handy like that. It allows you to just do things and perform tasks at certain points that you just wouldn't have been able to do in the GameCube version. Like, we still can't make much extra progress on day one, but just the fact that we're able to knock down this gate ahead of time saves us time on a later day, when we have to come back to the impact site and get that other part out there. It's just... it's so good. It's very good. I don't mean to be biased, but we can just do this cheesy nonsense, direct Pikmin through a wall after throwing them up to a ledge that they're not really supposed to be able to get to right now. I mean, I suppose there's ways to do this in the GameCube version. There are, like, glitches and things that you possibly could be able to do to sort of get Olimar to locations where he's not supposed to be. But, yeah, as far as just not utilizing glitches and things, the Wii controls are really good. They're really, really good, and it allows you to more efficiently act. Especially on day one here, since you don't have a time limit or anything, you can just freely do things like this, if you can. Of course, not having a time limit is really only on day one, so, you know. Anyway, with that done, that extra little task completed, we are able to take our Pikmin and bring them to the engine and carry it back, as usual. But, yeah. The Wii controls are really good. I will say without a doubt, I definitely prefer them over the GameCube controls. Again, even though you do lose the ability to move your group of Pikmin and aim and throw in different directions. But that's just sort of a skill that I never, throughout my years of playing Pikmin, really felt like I was missing. I don't know, I could be wrong, I could be dumb, but yeah. Here we are, at the end of day one, once again. The engine is where it's supposed to be. And we have a bit of an insight into how the two different versions of Pikmin work, which we can definitely take advantage of going forward. Once more, glorious, glorious. With the help of the Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back towards home. My ship can once again lift off, and the glimmer now burns brightly. The true search, though, starts tomorrow, of course. The Pikmin go to their little home, and the results of day one in the Wii version are really not much different than the GameCube version, aside from being able to knock down that gate. And Olimar blasts off into the atmosphere. But yes, that is the primary idea behind this project, comparing and contrasting the GameCube and Wii versions of Pikmin, and being able to see, like, what games do what better. There are other control differences and things like that we can explore and investigate as time goes on. But that's not all we're going to do with this project. In addition to just doing the compare and contrasting of the two different versions, I have another goal in mind, a personal challenge that I would like to put on myself, I suppose. As you can see on the file select screen of the GameCube version of Pikmin here, my overall record for collecting all 30 parts is 12 days. And, as you can see on the Wii version's file select screen, my record here is collecting all the parts in 11 days. As part of this project, we are going to improve upon that record, and we are going to complete both versions of Pikmin in 10 days each. If there's one game in the world that I love challenging myself with, it's the first Pikmin game. I love seeing how fast I can complete it, and I aim to complete it as fast as I possibly can. So, I hope you will look forward to that, and I will see you next time as we move on to day 2 of Pikmin. This is your good friend Sparky signing off for now. I'll catch you later.